Tampa is known for its close access to miles of endless beaches, its professional sporting teams, its rich Spanish and Latin heritage, and of course its obsession with pirates. During the time period surrounding World War II, Tampa was known for different reasons. Just a short drive down an old railroad access road leads me to a patch of old asphalt and concrete. How did I come to find this place, and why was it here? I was walking through the campus of the University of South Florida one day. As I passed the breezeway of the John and Grace Allen building, I noticed a mural on the wall. The mural told the story of how USF came to be. The land that USF now sat on used to be part of an old and forgotten Army airfield. I was standing on forgotten history. I was very intrigued by this kind of history because I am a veteran of the U.S. Army who served in Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. There were 3 Army airfields in Tampa during World War II: Drew Army Airfield, MacDill Army Airfield, and Hillsborough Army Airfield. The land from Hillsborough County in the city of Tampa was used for these airfields. Drew Army Airfield's land was given back after World War II and became known as Drew Field Municipal Airport. It went from military operations to commercial and civilian use. Drew Airport's name was changed to Tampa International Airport when the airport started to serve flights coming from Canada. MacDill Army Airfield has not changed much and is now a fully operational United States Air Force base. MacDill is also the home of U.S. Operations Central Command. Sitting on 2,135 acres of land, Hillsborough Army Airfield opened in 1943 as an active military base during World War II. It had 3 runways, each about a mile long. Hillsborough Army Airfield served as a training facility for the 42nd Fighter Squadron, equipped with P-51 Mustangs. Hillsborough Army Airfield was also an auxiliary airfield and support and training, and an overflow airfield for emergency landings of students assigned to the main bases. In a January 27, 2002 Tampa Tribune article by Brian Rowinkle, the last base commander at Hillsborough Army Airfield, Ansley Watson, said the airfield had 1 hangar, a control tower, a concrete building where the fighters were parked. Mr. Watson said the base normally had about 28 planes at the field at one time. On May 10, 1945, 2 days after VE Day, training ended and the airfield was closed. Personnel and equipment were reassigned to Pottersville Army Airfield, California. The base was officially closed on May 23, 1945, and was transferred to Air Tactical Service Command for disposal. After the war, the land was returned to the county, and the airfield became a civil airfield known as Henderson Airport. Henderson Airport was operational until the mid-1950s. The land that the old airfield sat on began to be subdivided and sold off. According to Jim Stahl, in the late 50s, teenagers and young adults used the runways for drag racing. Crowds of people would gather to watch. The police constantly tried to stop it with no luck. The racing came to a stop when ditches started to be dug across the runway just prior to the development and repurposing of the land. In 1957, the Jos Schlitz Brewing Company bought 45 acres of land on the northwest side of the old airfield to build a state-of-the-art brewery. The building has since changed ownership and is now home to the Yuengling Brewery. Yuengling Brewery sits on the west side of what was the runway that ran east and west. A good portion of their distribution operations still uses the old runway as a parking lot. The University of South Florida campus began construction in 1957 on the north side of the airfield. Today, USF is one of the largest public universities in the nation, and among the top 50 universities, public or private, for federal research expenditures. In 1959, on the south end of the airfield, Anheuser-Busch built a brewery and Busch Gardens as a way to show off their beer. The brewery no longer exists, but Busch Gardens is now an African-themed amusement park. A portion of the old runway to the north of Adventure Island Water Park is still being used by Busch Gardens as a driver training area. People began to use the old airfield as a place for recreational activities. A 1967 photo of Lonnie Cobbs and two friends taken at the old airfield shows them as they learn to fly radio-controlled model aircrafts. Today, a large section of the land behind the Yuengling Brewery serves as recreational fields for soccer, managed and maintained by the Chargers Soccer Club that provides soccer opportunities to players throughout the Tampa Bay region. Mel's Hot Dogs opened in 1973. According to the restaurant, the building is the last known surviving structure of the old airfield. Today, you can sit inside of that last surviving building of the Hillsborough Army Airfield and enjoy a delicious Chicago-style hot dog. By 2005, most of the runways were still fairly intact. Most sections were completely dug up or repurposed as parking lots. Today, the remains of the old airfield are unknown to most that drive by it every day. New infrastructures are being built on top of what was left. All that remains of the Hillsborough Army Airfield are patches of asphalt and concrete, one building, and an aerial photo. Everything else about the old airfield is just a memory for those who are able to remember. But the loss of memories made at the old forgotten airfield allows for new memories to be made and shared.